My mother-in-law didn't just say I was too old to give her grandkids. She literally rewrote my medical results so her son would believe I was broken and start planning a family with someone else. My name is Rachel. I'm 42. My husband, well, technically husband, is Tom, 44. We've been together 12 years, married for 9, no kids. Not because we didn't want them, but because life, work, and his mother were always in the way. From day one, my mother-in-law, Linda, made it clear she saw me as an obstacle, not family. She'd smile with her teeth and say things like, "You're great for now, but my son was always meant to be a dad." Or, "You still have some time, not much, but some." If I had $1 for every time she mentioned my biological clock, I could have paid cash for IVF. When I turned 40, I panicked a little. I won't lie. Everyone around me seemed to be posting baby pictures, first day of school, miracle rainbow baby announcements. Me? I had a good job, a decent marriage, and a mother-in-law who treated me like an expired coupon. One night I told Tom, if we ever want kids, we need to at least check where we're at. I don't want to wake up at 45 and realize we ran out of time because we were scared to ask. He squeezed my hand, kissed my forehead. "Okay," he said. "Let's see a specialist. Whatever happens, we're in this together." He meant it, or at least I think he believed he did. The fertility clinic was cold and too bright. I sat there in a paper gown while they took blood, did ultrasounds, measured things I'd never heard of, AMH, FSH, follicles. Later that week, we sat across from Dr. Infertile, a calm woman with kind eyes. She didn't sugarcoat it. "You do have diminished ovarian reserve," she said. "At 42, that's not unexpected. Your chances of conceiving naturally are low, but not zero. With IVF and moving quickly, there is still a real possibility. Not a guarantee, but not hopeless." I remember gripping Tom's hand so tight my fingers hurt. "So it's bad, but not impossible?" I asked. "Exactly," she said. "If having a biological child is important to you, I'd recommend you start treatment soon. We can also discuss donor eggs as a backup option, but it's not your only path." Tom nodded quietly, thanked her. He looked serious, but not devastated. On the drive home, he said, "We'll figure it out. I just need to think." I thought we were processing it together. What I didn't know was that his mother had already started writing a different ending. The next time we saw Linda, it was at her house for Sunday dinner. She greeted us at the door with way too much sympathy in her eyes. "My poor babies," she said, hugging Tom like he'd just lost a limb. Then, to me, "It must be so hard for you, both." The way she said both made it sound like I was the problem, and he was collateral damage. We hadn't told her anything yet. I frowned. "Tom, you told her?" I asked later in the kitchen. He looked guilty. "She called. She knew we had an appointment. She pulled it out of me," he said. "I didn't tell her everything, just that it doesn't look great." I was annoyed, but I let it go. He's close to his mom. "Fine." Then Linda appeared, waving a folded paper. "I know you don't understand all these medical terms," she said softly. "So I asked a colleague of mine from the hospital to look at your results. He's a specialist." I printed what he wrote. She handed Tom the paper like a death certificate. He read it, and I watched his face drain. "What does it say?" I asked, my throat suddenly dry. He hesitated, then read aloud, "Ovarian failure, extremely low probability of pregnancy with own eggs. Recommendation, consider donor eggs or accept child-free life. Natural pregnancy essentially impossible." Essentially impossible. I felt like the room was tilting. "Let me see," I said, reaching out. Linda held it back for a second too long, then placed it in my hand with a sad little sigh. At the bottom, in typed font, Dr. H. Morales, Reproductive Endocrinology. I'd never heard that name. "Dr. Infertile didn't say essentially impossible," I whispered. "She said low, but—" Linda cut me off. "Honey, of course she did. They need hopeful patients to keep the clinic running, she said. But my colleague doesn't need your money. She told me the truth. I'm so sorry. She put a hand over mine like she was comforting me. Inside, something felt off. But grief is loud. Suspicion is quiet. Grief won. After that, Tom changed. It wasn't instant. It was slow erosion. He stopped daydreaming with me about baby names, stopped pausing in front of kids' clothes at Target, stopped saying when and started saying if, and then stopped saying anything at all. One night in bed, I whispered, "Would you still want to be with me if it turns out we can't have kids?" He was quiet for so long I thought he'd fallen asleep. Then he said, "I don't know." 2 words. I don't know. They hit harder than the essentially impossible on that fake-sounding paper. We didn't talk about IVF after that. Every time I brought it up, he'd say, "Why put you through all that if we know it won't work?" And Linda's voice would echo from that damn Sunday dinner. Ovarian failure. Twist number 1. The numbers didn't match. About a month later, I decided I wanted copies of everything. If my body had betrayed me, I at least wanted to understand how. I logged into the clinic's patient portal to download my lab results. There they were, PDFs, neatly organized. I opened the first one. On the clinic's official letterhead, it said, "Anti-Mullerian hormone, low, consistent with diminished ovarian reserve. Spontaneous pregnancy, less likely but possible. Recommend discussion of options including IVF with own oocytes versus donor oocytes as secondary option." I opened another, FSH levels, similar language, reduced chance, age-related decline, all that. I opened the summary letter Dr. Patel had sent. It was honest but not hopeless. Nowhere did it say ovarian failure. Nowhere essentially impossible. I went to my desk drawer and pulled out the letter Linda had waved around. Same logo at the top, but the font was slightly different. The wording was harsher, absolute heavy. And at the bottom, Dr. H. Morales, with no contact info, no address, no license number. Just a name. My heart started pounding. I called the clinic. "Hi, this is Rachel Cole," I said. "I'm a patient of Dr. Patel. I have a question. Is there a Dr. H. Morales who works with you?" The receptionist put me on hold, then came back. "No one by that name here," she said. "Do you want me to check our larger network?" She checked. Nothing. "We have no Dr. Morales in reproductive endocrinology," she said. "And we don't send letters with other doctors' names on them. Only your treating physician." My fingers went numb around the phone. Linda hadn't just asked a colleague to translate medical jargon. She had forged a letter about my fertility and handed it to her son as truth. String twist. My mother-in-law had a replacement picked out. Rage carried me through the next part. I drove to Linda's house with the fake letter in my bag. She opened the door all sweetness. "Rachel, dear, I was just thinking about you. How are you holding up?" "Great, actually," I said, pushing my way in. "I just got off the phone with the clinic. Turns out you're magical doctor." "Morales doesn't exist." Her face flickered just for a second. "I don't know what you mean," she said. I pulled out both letters and put them on her table. "This is the real letter," I said. "From Dr. Patel. Low, but possible. And this is the one you gave Tom. The one that calls my ovaries failure and says essentially impossible. Where did you get this?" Her smile disappeared. "You're 42, Rachel," she said sharply. "We all know what that means." I didn't need some young doctor sugarcoating it. I asked an old friend to look at your numbers. He told me the truth. "Name, number, clinic," I said. "Or I will assume you made it up." The silence stretched. Then she snapped. "It doesn't matter where it came from. It matters that my son knows the reality. He has always wanted to be a father. I will not stand by and watch his life get wasted." There it was. Not even pretending anymore. "Wasted with me," I said quietly. She lifted her chin. "You knew your age when you married him. You knew he wanted children. Maybe you should have let him go sooner. My hands were shaking. So you decided to help by lying, I asked? By putting words in a doctor's mouth? She gave a little shrug. Sometimes people need a push to accept the truth. On her kitchen counter, her phone lit up with a notification. A preview of a message popped up. A woman's name I recognized from a story Tom had told long ago. Emily. How is he doing with the news? Emily. His ex. The one his mother always loved. Something inside me clicked into place. While I stood there, Linda's phone lit again. Emily message. I just want him to be happy. He was always meant to be a dad. I didn't say anything then. I just left. That night, after Tom fell asleep, I did something I'm not proud of. I went through his phone. I wasn't looking for gotcha proof. I already felt insane. I just needed reality. In his messages with his mom, I saw it all. Weeks before we even had our appointment, Linda had texted him, "You need to prepare yourself. At her age, chances are basically zero." Then, I talked to Emily the other day. She's doing well. Still no kids, but she says she'd like to start a family soon. Tom had replied, "Mom, please don't bring Emily into this." She wrote, "I'm just saying some doors aren't completely closed yet." Scrolling further, I found another thread. This time, Tom and Emily. Twist number 3. He'd already started reconnecting. Their conversation started innocent enough, sharing old memories. Random jokes. How's life? Then it slipped. Tom wrote, "We're having some fertility issues. Doesn't look good." Emily replied, "I'm sorry, you always wanted to be a dad. You'd be such a good one." He answered, "Maybe it's just not meant to happen with us. With us. Not with Rachel and me. With us. Like he and Emily were still the main story, and I was a side quest." Further down I saw, "Mom said you might come visit for Thanksgiving. It would be nice to see you again." I felt sick. I clicked on a voice note Emily had sent. "I don't want to cross any lines," she said, "but I always pictured you as the father of my kids. If things are really over between you and her, maybe this is the universe giving us a second chance." The message was from 3 weeks after Linda handed him the fake letter. So while I was greeting a future I thought I'd lost, they were soft launching a potential Plan B family. The next day, I put all the printouts in a folder. The real clinic letters, the fake one Linda made up, the screenshots of texts, Emily's voice note transcribed. I sat Tom down at the table. "We're going to talk," I said, "and this time you're going to listen first." He looked wary. "Rachel, I don't want to fight about this again. We can't change biology." I slid the real letter toward him. "Read that." He picked it up, scanned it. "Yeah, I seen this, it's bad." Then I slid the fake one next to it. "Now read this." Out loud, he read, "Ovarian failure, extremely low probability, essentially impossible." His brow furrowed. "Wait, this isn't the same letter." "No," I said, "it's not, because that one isn't from my doctor. It's from your mother's imagination." I told him about calling the clinic, the non-existent Dr. Morales, the forged phrases. I watched his face go from confused to horrified to defensive. "She wouldn't fake a letter," he said weakly. I pulled out my phone and tossed it to him, open to the text between him and Linda, him and Emily. "She didn't have to," I said. "She just needed you to want it to be true badly enough that you wouldn't ask questions." He scrolled. His shoulders slumped. "I never cheated," he said quietly. "Emotionally?" I asked. "Spiritually?" "While Emily is telling you she wants you to be the father of her kids, and your mom is handing you a fake obituary for my ovaries." He didn't answer. A week later, I went back to Dr. Patel, alone. I told her everything. She listened, horrified. "I'm so sorry this happened to you," she said. "Medically speaking, my assessment stands. Your chances are low. But IVF is still a real option if you want to pursue it. Emotionally, that's another question." She offered something I hadn't even considered. "We can give you a second opinion at a different clinic if it helps you feel this is about your body, not other people's agendas." I took her up on it. The second clinic said almost the same thing. reduced reserve, clock ticking fast, but possibility with aggressive treatment. No one real, said essentially impossible. By the time those results came back, I had my answer. The problem wasn't my ovaries, it was the people around them. I told Tom I wanted a separation. He begged. "We can try IVF," he said. "We can go to that second clinic. I'll cut contact with Emily. I'll set boundaries with my mom." "You already didn't set boundaries," I said. "She forged medical reality for you, and your first instinct was to believe her and emotionally drift toward your ex." He cried. I cried. It wasn't a yelling breakup. It was tired. If you had come to me and said, "This is crushing me. I'm scared I'll never be a dad. I don't know if I can accept a child-free life," we could have had that conversation, I told him. Instead, you let your mother narrate our life for you. And that, in the end, is what broke us more than my lab numbers, not the age, not the fertility odds. The fact that when it came down to choosing who to trust with our future, he chose the woman who faked my failure over the woman living that future with him. Right now, I'm living in a small apartment with plants I'm desperately trying not to kill, going to therapy, deciding if I want to do IVF on my own someday, or let the idea of motherhood go. Tom still texts sometimes. We could still try. Mom went too far, but I didn't know. We can start over. Linda, from what I hear, is very busy sending pictures of her future grandbabies from random relatives. Like a woman trying to manifest destiny through group chats. Emily blocked me after I sent her one single message. "You deserve to know he let his mother fake medical results to make room for you. Good luck." She never replied. So if you've listened this far, I really want your honest opinion. If you found out your mother-in-law had forged or twisted your fertility results to make you look hopeless, your husband believed her without checking, and he'd already started emotionally reconnecting with an ex as a backup plan for the family she promised him, would you stay and keep fighting for a baby with him and his mother hovering over your uterus? Or would you, like me, decide that the first person you need to protect is yourself?